talking about, by the way? What's the topic?
Hi, everybody. So now we're
Oh,
live.
hey.
Welcome to episode 2 of The Effing Title. For the first time in The Effing Title's history, we have our first ever guest. It is one of my guards. It is my center. It is one of my best friends. One of the best football minds that I know. It is Coach Sturgis. Is it okay if I call you Sturge?
Yes, that is perfectly fine. Hello, world.
Okay, guys. So, me and Sturge have been good friends all the way through college and after college. Literally one of the best football guys that I know. Wanted him to be one of one of the first guests, and it just so happened to turn out that he was the first guest. So, worked out
Honor
beautifully.
to be here. Honor.
So, Sturge, you want to tell the people a little bit
Love the
about
name,
yourself?
by the way.
You do?
I
Okay.
love the name of the podcast. It's great. It's right to the point. The effing title.
Well, it was
Love
one of those things where I was talking to a bunch of people and trying to figure out what the title should be because I needed a good title, and everyone was doing like the typical ones, like like the Wolf Pack, the like Howl of the Moon, that sort of stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I was like, what the fuck is the fucking title? And I was like, there we go, it's the effing title. There we go.
Makes sense. It's easy.
Yeah. So for
No one will forget it.
yeah, no one's ever gonna forget this. Hopefully. Uh, so.
Fair.
People who have been in stream, you guys have been hearing Sturge's voice more. We've been playing Apex more. He's playing Apex right now because he's.
Oh, I got him! I killed the guy.
There you go. So you might hear that all the way through. But other than that, though, for the people who don't know you, Sturge, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
All right, yeah. So, obviously, I've known Greenwood since my freshman year of college. We played football together at Norwich. After Norwich, I coached 5 years at a small D3 school, Anna Maria College. Coached football there. Ended up being the offensive coordinator. Took a year off after we all got fired, and then got back. I'm now a head coach at a high school up here in Manchester, New Hampshire. I've done some time coaching some high school basketball as well, but otherwise, my real paying job, I get to work as a admission or advisor, academic advisor for an online school. It's beautiful. Other than that, yeah, I love food and I love football.
And
Let's roll.
And because of that, this last part of that, the love of football and my love of football, and that's how we both know each other. That's what the entire podcast is going to be today. So for this first time, this is the first
lovely.
ever football podcast. So we got 4 topics for everybody tonight. The first topic is going to be the pros and cons of football. I think that would be a good talk. The second one I'm interested to see because your wife brought this one up, and it's marriage in sports. So I want to see what your take on that is. The third one will be NFL Draft 2020 quarterbacks. We're just going to lightly touch on this. We're not going to get into it too much. That's going to be a topic there's going to be a topic for a long way down the road. And then the final topic is week 2 in the XFL, just kind of some hit and miss stuff that we've seen. So first topic, pros and cons of football. Which one do you want to start with first? Do you want to go pros first or you want to go cons first? Which one would you like to do?
Honestly, let's go cons because I think it's going to be harder to find the cons. I mean, everyone obviously will immediately think, oh, injuries, concussions, stuff like that. But I honestly, to me, like, that's really only a con if you play for a long time. Like, if you're playing 12 plus years, if you're in the Pee Wee all the way up through college, that's when you start getting the real injuries. I mean, obviously, you could tear your ACL, and that shit happens all the time. But, I feel like cons with football, everyone that I've talked to that says they don't like football or especially ones that played. So that's the hard part is people that actually played football and the ones that have cons, it normally is a direct correlation with actually their relationship with their coaches. I've never heard anyone actually say I've never heard anyone say, "Hey, I hated football because my teammates sucked."
True.
I've never heard anyone say that. Like it's usually you usually start in football because it's your best friends playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The few times I ever do hear the few times I've heard it a few times, but the few times I have heard it are from the kids that play a year or two in high school and then they quit because just something doesn't happen, and then friendships strain at that point. You know, I mean, we've all kind of seen it. We either seen it or had it happen where like you have a friend, you're both playing sports, and then suddenly he doesn't want to play anymore, but you still do, and the friendship at that point kind of strains it sometimes, and that's the only times I've ever really heard that. I obviously the first two that I wrote down a few. The first two I wrote down, of course, like you just said, were injuries. But I wrote down the toll on your body and health. you know. And
Yeah,
those
and
just
again,
those are
I think
easy.
that's
Those are
really
they're easy ones to bring up.
yeah.
The next one that I brought up is time. I think this is a big con that a lot of people see
You know what?
is
Yeah.
the time commitment
I
that it
think that's
takes.
one that's one that prevents like the ones you were just talking about, kids who quit it or kids who decide they don't want to play. It's because and it's actually what I tell my kids all the time is it's really it's not a part-time, you're doing a full-time job
Hmm.
on top of school, especially if you're in the high school. Like, hey, you're signing up now. I mean, our kids, they get out of school at 2:53 and then they're with us from 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock every single day. I mean, we give them Saturdays off, but then Sundays we're there for film or lifting,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I mean, it's there's
well,
not much time off.
and that's like the way, and especially the way that you're saying about it, like in doing that, especially at a high school level. I mean, it's even if they don't want to play at the next level, you've now got them ready mindset wise for that next level.
Well, that's the other part is too is a lot of people don't realize kids don't realize this. They don't realize it until they leave. And I know like we never realized it until we left.
Hmm.
Is as a coach, you're not until you're in the college level, you're not really doing it. Yeah, you want to win. That's the competitive side of you. That's what you're doing it for. Like, hey, I love competing. I love winning. I love this game. What better avenue to try and win games? But my job isn't to help them win, and that's the hard part is I'm trying to teach them when they do get out of college, or if I have a lot of kids that go into trade school.
Oh yeah,
So those kids like they're not I'm sorry, they're not going to college football. That
yeah,
they
no.
need is they need to learn what it's like to be responsible enough to have someone count on them to work a 40-hour week
Hmm.
and not bail on it, not quit on it, stuff like that. But you're right, it's a lot of people see that time schedule and they go, "Oh, I don't have time for that between my my video games, my friends, my work, my family, and a lot of them end up dropping off because of it. It's now that you said it, it's probably the biggest con is the time.
Well,
Because
it's
a lot
just
of kids in high school, they've got so many other things. I mean, once you become a sophomore, all you think about is girls,
mm,
stuff like that. So you got to try and sit there and go, hey, you gotta be really responsible to understand what's important to you at the age of 15.
yeah, right, exactly. At the very young age of 15, is football really something you want to do? And that's like one of the things as well. Like from the coaching thing, that was one of the ones that I always made sure, and it may have been the wrong thing to do with me. Now that you brought up trade school and everything, towards the end of me coaching at high school, I was telling kids like, look, if you're not going to go play a sport in college, fucking go to trade school. It may have been the
Yeah,
wrong
hell,
thing for
why
me to
not, dude?
do,
No,
but
there's
the
good
thing is,
money.
it's like that's the thing is like I want these guys to be successful, and a lot of the guys that I coached, I considered them either they were my guys or I considered them people on the team. A lot of the ones that were my
Yeah.
guys, they're either playing sports in college or they went to trade school, and it's one of those things where like especially like you were saying as a coach, our biggest thing is to kind of like develop these young children so that then they do get out of high school when they do get to this next level, they're not the asshole that's like, hey, boss, I can't come to work. I'm sick. And really, they just want to play fucking Fortnite all day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the hard part is trying to get little kids to realize. I mean,
And
at the
it's,
end of the day, that's really all they are. They're little children.
oh yeah, I mean, and it's a tough one as well because like, I mean, what? How long did it take us? Like, honestly, how long did it take us in college to figure out like this is a full time fucking job right now? It took us like until we changed divisions and we were actually kind of successful. You know.
But the other hard part is trying to do all of that. Trying to like where I'm at now is we've got one win in 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been there for two, but trying to convince these kids, hey, you should definitely come play football, put all this time in, and yeah, we might not win.
And that's
Like,
that's the tough one
and
as well, right? Because we
kids
know
nowadays want that instant gratification. They
exactly,
want
like because we
all my
know
hard
I
work
went.
pays
What was it?
off.
I mean, my first year in Norwich, what we were
You went
two
two
and
years of that shit.
yeah, I went 2 years of it. You went 1 year of it. But then it was one of
Yeah.
those things though, where like if you can build a core group of guys, because what there was 20 something in my senior class. There was how many in your senior class? What there was high teens, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, we were like 18, something like
Yeah.
that.
So we had low 20s, we had high teens 2 years back to back, and we were fucking pissed off. We didn't want to keep losing. Like we said, enough is enough,
Yeah.
and yeah, enough is a fuck enough. And we put the time in, we put the effort in, and it showed. We won.
It takes a special group though to
There we
stick it
go.
out that long in college. You've got to be
Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna sound weird, but you've got to be tapped a different way. Like
Oh yeah.
mentally,
Well,
you're programmed differently.
and of course Jeff just in chat just wrote culture. And that's the
Yeah,
perfect I would almost say that culture could be, and this goes to the pro and con, it could be a pro and it could be a con, because if you have the wrong guy that's at the head of the thing leading it, right? Because I've talked to you about the
yeah,
wrong guys I've had, where it's like a guy comes in wearing an Ohio State shirt and the coach looks at him and goes, take that off.
yeah.
Do you really want that culture versus the culture of like the kid? The kid comes. The parents come to you for the kid, and like they're like, "Hey, like we need you to talk to our kid, because he's doing this, he's doing that. We need you to kind of talk to him about this." And like with the parents there, you just go, "Look, if you keep up this, you're gonna be fucked." And you just straight tell the
Hmm.
kid like, "This is how it is." I don't give a shit how old this kid is. If a parents come to me and I know this kid, I've worked with this kid, he's going down a bad road, and this is coming
Yeah,
from an experience that I've had, that like with his parents there, I straight up told him and his parents, like, look, you're going down a bad road and no one's going to be able to fucking save you. And I used that sort of language because it's one of those things where I wanted to I wanted to make the point. Like, I care about you. I'm going to talk to you like I would anyone else, you know?
yeah. I mean, in all honesty, it comes down to I said it already. The way I tell my kids is my job is to prepare you for the next step in your life, whatever
Exactly.
it's gonna be. So we're gonna treat it. This is a job, which means I am your boss.
Mm-hmm.
Which means when, or me or any of the other coaches, when we say something, you do it. Like whether you like it or not, you're gonna do it. Now, if you want to have a conversation about it, I've got office hours. You can meet with me about it. We'll have a frank conversation about it. I'll hear your side. We'll hear my side. Stuff like that. So, it's like you said, culture's a big thing, and it can be bad. It can be good.
Yeah.
But every person also has to match their personality with that culture, which is also the hard part of high school. It's one
Mm-hmm.
of the cons is you don't get to choose the culture your coach is gonna have. It is
Exactly.
what it is. In college, you get to choose. I mean, granted, if you're a good player, you get to choose which culture do I want to be a part of, that type of thing. So it's a fine line, but I think that's really the biggest con. Honestly, I'd say
Mm-hmm.
is but it all varies based off where you play and what
True.
type of kid you are.
True.
If you're someone who loves the sport, you're not gonna find any cons. We all know what we signed up for with the injury stuff. Like, I knew my knees and back were gonna hurt for the rest of my life. That's
Well,
part of the whole
and that's one of
game.
the things. Like,
But
the funny thing is, like, so on my pro list here, because I mean, that's basically we just finished with the cons. The pros, I put health as one of them because it's one of those things where, like, even though, like, yeah, there's some days when it gets to like 0 degrees here in Vermont, and my hands start getting like cramped up because it's just fucking cold. But it's a reminder of all the shit that I've done. But then at the same time, it's like the shape that we got in. It's easy for us to get back in that shape. We just have to put in the effort. You know.
it's true. I mean, especially when you get to the college game, and some high schools are like this. They teach you how to take care of your bodies. They teach you. I mean, good programs teach you not to like, if you're hurt, go to the athletic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hurt, go to a doctor. Work with those people because they have your best interest, and it teaches you kind of how to be responsible about that part of your that part of yourself, that
Yeah.
health part. I mean, I'd be lying if I said after football I went into this great shape mode. I freaking got really fat and let myself go because I was like, hey, I want to be a college kid and get to
yeah.
experience that part of it where I can eat whatever the hell I want. But then then you grow up and you're like, oh crap,
Yeah.
I look terrible. I don't ever want to look at that picture ever again.
Also, John, hi. Nice to have you here.
Hi, John.
The other two
Hi,
that I did
Jeff.
for pro, obvious, I did brotherhood and teamship and like teamship. But I mean, like the biggest pro I'd say is brotherhood.
Oh yeah, you're gonna make friends that you'll talk to for the rest of your life. I mean, how my wedding, I had everyone that lived within distance of me
Mm-hmm.
was there. People that you talk to on a daily basis, no matter what, that type of
Oh
thing.
yeah, I mean, like
It's
for
just
me, like the easy one that I can say is like for high school, I didn't most of the guys in high school I don't fucking talk to anymore. But the fact that like right now I have you on my podcast, right now I have Jeff who was my tight end in my chat. I have John who was my roommate
slash
and I'm
nose
his
tackle.
and nose tackle. That's right, and guard. The fucking Swiss Army knife. But I mean, like the one that I always go to, and like I 100% believe this. I don't ever know if this is true or not. If it would be, I feel like if I called Hanai up right now and I said, Donnie, I need you, he'd be on a fucking flight within the week.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's kind of,
Like
but
that's
again, the hard part with this is we talk
it's.
about college,
Hmm.
and it's a little different. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have a couple guys out in high school that I'll talk to every once in a while, but if you are a college player, it's a different type of brotherhood because you truly live with each other. I
True.
mean, hell, we all lived on the same floor
That
for
is
three
true. Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? Like we spend every minute of every day with each other. And then it's hard not to build a brotherhood that way. And then you go from there. I mean, in high school, it's a little different. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people that they're still best friends with everybody from their high school team, and
Hmm.
they still go out to dinner and stuff all the time. It all that goes back to the culture part. Is what did your coach preach? Did he preach that shit? But yeah, like you said, brotherhood. I mean, I know I got a handful of people I know I could call at any moment, and they'd be here if I needed help with anything right away. Hell,
True.
it
Well,
goes the
like,
same way.
well,
If they called me, I'd be there.
yeah. I mean, like Jeff just did a good one, and this is a great example. He just wrote Madden chises. I don't know how many times Jeff has sold an Xbox, bought a PlayStation, and then bought another Xbox again, just so me and him can do a Madden franchise. Like, I have people that I know that have Xboxes right now that will not play a video game with me. But yet Jeff has gone out and like bought an Xbox, played games with me, said I'm done with the Xbox, sold the Xbox, then rebought another one so he could continue playing games. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
just
mean,
it's a completely different fucking level of everything. I feel like that's one of the
well,
things.
and then
Like the brotherhood
the
is
fun
like
part about the whole thing too is like just basic sense of this is you're in Vermont, I'm in New Hampshire, Jeff's in New York. JT, are you still in Florida?
yeah, he's still in
Like,
Florida. Yeah,
like I mean, and we're finding a way to still hang out with each other. If it's not in person, it's still
it's
we're
still yeah.
talking every day. We're still communicating. We're still hanging out, whether it's through video games, through podcasts, through your streaming, stuff like that.
Hmm.
We're gonna find a way to stay in touch with each other and be a part of each other's lives, no matter what direction it goes in.
True. And I like the last one for pro that I'll say, and this is gonna be a biased one, but I mean, I feel like if you play football, you're a better person. That's a weird thing to say, and I know it's going to be a weird thing to say, and I'm probably like, if people listen to this and like fucking comment, I know they're probably just going to be bad,
So I
but
mean,
it's
you you say the football part. I think it goes with all athletics.
true.
If
Okay, yeah.
you
So
if you're a
I'll
part
expand
if
it to
you're a
that. I'll
part
expand
of
it to
a
that. If
I
if
think
you play
it's considered
sports,
a fraternity. If you're part of a type of brotherhood or fraternity that is sports related, it's you learn so many values that you don't even think of while you're playing.
mhm,
You have no idea what you're thinking of, and it's just over and over. You just continually um expand those little things that you're not thinking of. Like again, we go back to the learning how to just operate in a business world or a job. And you go back and go, oh shit, wow, football really prepared me for when my boss is really angry for no reason and having a bad day.
mm,
Trust me, I've been through that.
oh
I've
yeah,
done all those up downs with Murr.
yeah,
I understand. I get it. So it's, and you don't even, at the time, you're not thinking about it. At the time, you're like, oh, how do I get through this hellhole?
yeah, exactly
But
right. It's that thing
that's
of
what it
like,
is.
don't look scared, don't look scared, don't look scared.
Yeah. And now, I mean, those little things really, you don't appreciate it until you get older, but it
True.
really is. So, I mean, I'd agree with it. Makes you, at least it makes you a more prepared person. You're not better is biased, but I can agree with that statement. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and complain with that statement. It's not wrong.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the next topic. This one, I was as I was writing down some notes today, I was trying to think of what to write for this. So I literally have four notes here, and that's it. And one of them just says marriage and sports question mark. So
Yeah,
of
it's a
course,
fun one.
so this is one that like of course because as everyone knows, I have a beautiful wife and I'm married and yeah, um,
Of course, yes.
yeah, so
Cynthia's a lovely lady.
yeah, Cynthia, Jesus.
I
Um,
don't know. That was the first name that came to my head.
I agree with it. Um, so marriage and sports. So of course, all you guys are married and everything. And it's one that I just never really thought about. It's always kind of one of those things I feel like that. Kind of the wife knows what she's getting herself in for. But at the same time, though, and then when I started thinking about it, it was like shit, like they probably don't know what they're fully getting themselves in for. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
so the first thing is and this is a dumb one, but but literally it's a why a problem.
Why can it be a problem? So a lot of it comes down to exactly what you said. They think they know what they're getting into, and you think they know what they're getting into, and no one actually knows what they're getting into. So it can become a huge issue that way, but at the same time, it comes down to just communication. If you guys can talk and communicate and work out the expectation, it's definitely doable. Now you need a wife that's highly independent. They got to understand there's gonna be days where, especially if you're a college coach, if you're a college coach, there are days where you're not home. I mean, hell, our Sundays where we were breaking down film and stuff, it was 10 a.m. till whenever we got the job done around midnight. So it's just like, well, that's kind of what the gig is. But
Mm.
at the same time, you got a wife that traveled. I know, like with Megan, she traveled down to come see me play on Saturday, and she drove an hour to come see me, and then she's spending Sunday by herself at the place. It's like, well, yeah, that can be tough. I can now understand. I didn't at the time, but I can get it. I can understand that why that can be a difficult thing. That can
Oh yeah,
be a real challenge, but at the same time, a lot of it comes down with anything. Like, look at you with the streaming stuff.
true.
If when you get a girl, are they gonna be down to understand that at 6 p.m. you're on and you're streaming?
I mean, it's
You
it's.
know,
I
like,
mean, for me, it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be very simple. I mean, like she's gonna be sitting next to me with her stuff on this side of the room, and she's gonna be
yes,
streaming,
fair.
and
She'll
like
be streaming next
yeah.
to you. Yes.
And if she doesn't
It'll
like that,
it'll
well, then I'll be finding a new girl at some point.
But a lot of that does come down to it. Like when you are dating and everything, like
Oh, true,
obviously they do have some idea of what the hell they're getting into. They otherwise the dating was useless. I mean, most people don't. I mean, most people that I know in this profession don't get married a year in
true.
because that's a fantasy. No one actually knows what the hell you're getting into in a year. Everything changes depending who your head coach is and everything. But it,
Also,
that's kind of
chat is completely agreeing with you with the communicating and sharing your interests, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you're I mean, if get me don't get me wrong. If Megan wasn't interested in football, even though she says she hates football,
Mm,
it's obviously a lie because football's on our TV 24/7.
yeah.
Like we
Well,
fell
it's
asleep
kind of
today,
it's
2 XFL games. Like that's what we do.
yeah.
Football runs in our blood. Whether she wants to make a joke about it or not, it's we love the sport, we love the game, we understand it's more than football. So
True.
it's but if she wasn't interested in it, well, fuck, that'd be a real hamper. I
Hmm.
can tell you when I took my year off, when I took a year off from coaching college and going to high school, she's the one who saw it every day. She saw my mood change. She saw I wasn't in the same mental space that I was.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but she saw it. So when I thought about applying to high school jobs, she said go for it. Just make sure it's the right situation and make sure it's not as much time commitment as college. And we're still working through some of those things. She had different expectations than what I said, but um, we're still working through some stuff. It will always will. It's never going to be perfect
Yeah.
because
Well, I
there's
mean, like,
always going to be
and that's the
events in
thing is
life that
like,
come up.
and like that's the thing. Like, I wrote like so like the three things I wrote down. The main three was why a problem, solutions, and fun with it. And you literally just answered all three of those basically with your own story. Of how
Yeah,
you and Megan have been. Well, like the fun with it is like you just said, you fell asleep during the XFL fucking game today. I mean, like it's a small thing, but like yeah, I mean that's just it's you're having fun with it. You know, like it's one of those things. Like if you randomly were like, "Look, the Lions are playing New England in New England. I want to go. Let's fucking go."
yeah.
I highly doubt Megan would probably be like immediately just say no. You know.
No, there's always going to be a conversation. Now, the conversation's probably going to be like, "Well, you remember we had this planned." I'll be like, "No, I didn't." And then she'll tell me that we had it planned, and I'll go, "Okay, well, how do we make it work?"
So
And then we go through that
how do
whole
we
process.
postpone that so we can
Yeah,
go watch
exactly.
Maddie Stafford? Uh,
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it
yeah.
is. And that's honestly the biggest thing. But again, it goes with anything. It's not just sports. It's anything that you enjoy personally,
Hmm.
your significant other's got to be on the same page with you. Otherwise, it's not going to go
Oh
well.
yeah. Well,
It's going to get ugly quick.
yeah. Well, like John put one in. John put a good one in chat. He said, "I've been to many a princess Disney princess events." You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh heck yeah! I can imagine when the kids come, different
well, that's what
things will
like,
get then too.
and
Like,
that's the thing is like I feel like especially then like I can only imagine that like as soon as like for like Jeff as soon as his boy gets a little bit older, Bill's stuff, you know, like
oh yeah,
oh man,
Bills,
like
Sabres, you name it. Whew.
yeah, so like I feel like that as well, like especially like because of course we're all like all of us in this little knit community that we have are sports people. Like that's who we are, you
Yeah.
know. So like being able to like almost like like have a kid, have a wife who like will have a wife mainly that like can kind of buy into it, and then and then the kid on top of it is just it adds so much more, because now at that
Yes.
point it's just that thing of like even if the wife is like okay yeah I don't like I'm not I don't fucking like football or I don't like this if she sees the kids face light up when it's Bill's time on TV or that then it's going to
Hmm.
kind of change a little bit you know
It's also if you guys share the same, like if they understand and you've had it worked out and you're on the same page, the the achievements are that much more rewarding. I can
True.
tell you when we won our first game this year, like I think Megan was sick or something. She wasn't even at the game. And she was still the first person when I looked at my phone that said congrats. Then the first person when I came home to celebrate with, like I didn't want to go out with the coaches and celebrate. I wanted to
You want
see
to
my
go?
wife and
Yep.
celebrate with her because we've gone through a lot to make this work.
Hmm.
So it was it's that much more rewarding when the good things happen, when
That's
the
awesome,
fun
man.
stuff happens.
I mean, like, and like that stuff
And
is like that's just. I mean, like that's the awesome stuff of it. It's like it's the once you do, kind of like like of course most of the stuff we talked about right now is problems, but as soon as it does, everything kind of starts clicking with this sort of stuff. That's the awesome thing. Is like this you win your first fucking game at this school that hasn't won in how many years? Did you had said at one point to me?
it was 4 years they were winless, yeah.
So 4 years winless. Then you go in, you get a fucking win. The first person you see is first person you get a message from is your wife, and then the first person you want to go home to is the first thing you want to do is you want to go home to your wife. Like that's fucking
Yeah, I want to
awesome. At that
celebrate.
point, like you want to celebrate, but of course, like it's like you want to celebrate with her. You know what I mean? Like that sort of
Yeah,
thing is, but like that's just such a huge positive, and just kind of having that like almost like lightning rod, right? Like
yeah.
it's always
It,
there. No
it,
matter
it,
wins, losses, it's there. It's going to be there for you no matter what.
yeah. No, it really is, and it actually makes you want to be more successful that much more because they're in your corner.
Hmm.
Like no matter what the struggle is or whatever it's gonna be, they're there supporting you. They know what you're going through. They want you to be successful. And I mean, you guys, my wife, she's gonna rib me if we're not successful. So,
Oh
it's
yeah.
that much more pressure as well to make sure you're successful, and you work that much harder. So, I know a lot of people burn out with sports and coaching and everything, and it's hard to burn out when your family is there supporting you and they want you to be successful and everything. It's hard to all of a sudden be like, oh, I can't go in and go to this workout today because I'm tired. It's a 6 a.m. practice. We're going, and we got to get better because my whole family is going to be at this game, and I'm not going to embarrass my name. I'm not going to
Exactly.
embarrass our name together. We're going to make sure we do this right, and that's how it is.
Yeah. All right, so now moving on to NFL Draft 2020 quarterbacks. So, like I said, eventually,
Yes, complete 180 here.
yeah, complete 180. For everyone out there, eventually down the line on the channel, we will be doing a top five on every position on offense, a top five on every position on defense. We'll be doing a mock draft before the draft, and then the weekend after the draft, we'll be doing a recap of everything that just happened. So like I said, like we said earlier, just a quick thing. Quarterbacks from this year's draft. What do you think?
It's not a deep class, but it is. I think it's better than a lot of people expect it. I think it's better than this past year's class.
I can
I
see that.
think I think there's hidden gems. Now, with that said, I think that this year these QBs shouldn't play right away.
True.
With that said, obviously there's one QB who should play right away. Joe Burrow should play right away for the Cincinnati Bengals,
Yeah.
and he should go win 3 or 4 games, and then they should go put better receivers around him, all that shit. Like that one's obvious. He's really freaking good, and he played with 2 receivers that are really freaking good, and he's gonna be fine. Their Bengals might actually be good with AJ if AJ Green's on board. With that said, after Joe Burrows is where it gets fun because then you've got I'm gonna just say Alabama QB because I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I just say
Um,
Tua. So,
yeah,
now
Tua.
here's my thing. You're a Bama fan, okay? I think you and me are
Yes,
both on agreement. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in this draft, and probably
it's not even close.
probably one of the most well-rounded ones we've seen in a little while.
Yeah, he can actually move too. It's kind of crazy, but he is. This is gonna be a weird comparison, but this is also me being a Lions supporter. I think he's a very Matthew Stafford-esque,
Yeah,
where he's going to be someone who comes in and throws for 5,000 yards every year. But I don't know if he'll make the Bengals good just because the Bengals suck.
true. Well, like you think back to like the years of Palmer, Hujmanzada, and Johnson, and like still they weren't able
Yeah,
to fucking do stuff. It's like,
well,
well,
that's
I mean,
Marvin Lewis.
well, yeah, of course we all know that, but so as a Bama fan though, what is your opinion of Tua? Because I don't think that he's going to be a good NFL quarterback.
So here's the fun part:
Okay.
is I think Tua's a very good quarterback.
Hmm.
I think Alabama went on this recently. They've gone on this big kick of what do college offenses do now? Remember how they used to just always line up and say, "Hey, we don't care what you do. We're 2 backs. We're gonna have a full back, and we're just gonna run the ball right down your throat," type of
Yeah, just
thing.
kind of Just this is
Well,
who we are. This is what we do.
yeah, and then they started losing to like those big spread teams that had the awesome QBs
Hmm.
and the zone read and the RPOs and pretty much everyone started torching Nick Saban with it. So he went, "Hey, we should do this." So they tried to get Tua to do that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, he's really good at it. Like he's a very good quarterback, but I don't think that's his game. I think his game, if you put him in a true pro style offense, I think it'll be fantastic.
True.
Now, obviously, with the hip injury, who knows how that's going to go and how that recovery is going to be. But I think when you look at it, I'm doing my Mel Kiper impression here. When you look at the arm strength and all that garbage, he's a very good um, QB when it comes to that stuff because he's just got intangible skills that um, a lot of people don't have. I mean, he can literally sling the rock 70 yards and not even he can do it off his back foot running away, that type of shit. Like he's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill, a lot of raw ability that
My thing
the
with it
hard
is that like you like everything like I agree with everything you say, but then my thing is like how many years back do we have to go for Alabama quarterbacks where we're not saying everything you kind of just said? You see what I'm saying? Like because I
yes
mean
and no. Also
like
think of it this way though. He finally got to operate in a Alabama system that went 4 wide receivers.
true.
That didn't major in under center. We live off the run game. They were a pass first team the last 2 years. They threw the ball all over the yard.
Yep, that is
Don't get
true.
me wrong. He had some of the best. Judy is one of the fastest people in the world,
Oh yeah.
and it's pretty easy to throw fades to the fastest person in the world. I understand that as well, and but at the same time, like now you're looking back, who are the other QBs? Like McElroy. Oh, great, yeah. You're gonna tell me Tua's the same as McElroy, or
Well,
Tua's the same as AJ
so I
McCarron?
was
Like,
gonna so I was
come on, those guys can't throw.
so I would make an argument for AJ McCarron.
I mean,
So,
you can, but
I would make
it's silly.
the only argument. Oh yeah, I mean, so remember, I'm the Tom Brandstatter guy. Um,
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. That's
yeah.
that's who he
Um,
is. He's Tom Bradstander.
well,
He's freaking terrible, is what he
well,
is.
my thing with it is that I see all the positives from Tua, but there's just something about his play. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me being weird with quarterbacks because, as you know, especially I'm weird when it comes to my fucking which quarterbacks I kind of like and I don't like. There's just something about Tua that I'm not sold on. I don't.
He's a risk taker.
Like,
He's very Brett Favre. He thinks he's got a cannon and he'll make really stupid decisions at times.
mhm.
I mean, hell, you look at what game was it this year? He had a game this year where All right, just look at the national championship game against Clemson. I mean,
True.
what you gotta like about him is he threw. I mean, I think the first drive of the game was a pick six. He did that, but then all of
Rebounded.
a sudden yeah, he comes back and he throws three touchdowns. I mean, there's a lot of There's don't get me wrong. There's flaws and there's things to do. He's someone who I wouldn't start right away. But if you tell me, whoever ends up getting Tom Brady, you don't also draft Tua and say, hey, sit 2 years behind this guy and then he'll leave because he's 50 years old and he's got to leave at some point. So, but if you just live in that world, I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree.
what's wrong with that? Now, if you're gonna sit there and be like the Dolphins and hey, he's gonna start right away, well, yeah, you're gonna run into some issues
Yeah.
because A, the hip, and B, he's got other things going on with that. But
So
um,
so so I
he's
kind of.
not even the sleeper. I think there's other people out there
Oh,
that
of
are
course,
way
of
better.
course.
And
My thing is like I just kind of did a random top five of guys that I could think of and remember the names of, and I kind
yeah,
of with the list that I had on my sheet where it's pros and cons, I just kind of put them on each side of what I like and what I don't like. So Tua was on the
just
side of
real
con.
quick,
Yeah.
just so Jeff can hear this, I'm the champion.
Okay. There you
Anyway,
go.
go on.
So Justin Herbert from Oregon. What do you think?
Love him.
I
Absolutely. I watched the. Did you watch the All-Star games on YouTube?
Yeah.
I think he was in the North-South or the
Oh yeah.
East-West one
Yeah.
of those two.
Yeah, I had it on at work.
When I watched that, I fell in love with him just because he did it all. He moved in the pocket. He
But
could scramble.
that's my thing is that
He's
he's
this is
tall.
this.
He's like whenever anyone says like a quarterback, they always have like the this is what like the height, this is what the weight, this is this that, and it's like he has those elements, but yet he can move, he can throw the ball well. He was in a good I would argue I would say a good system in Oregon. You know.
Yeah, very spread pro styley. He's gonna be some type of mix between, and some people will say, well, then he's going to suck when I say these two names. But you got to remember, these are two of the best 32 quarterbacks in the planet. So, but he's somewhere in between the Bills QB and Dak Prescott. I won't say the
Okay.
Bills QB's name yet until he can not choke in the playoffs, but the Bills QB and Dak Prescott, somewhere in between that world, and he's
Well,
going to be someone in the beginning of his career. He's going to use his legs a lot to run because but he's also going to benefit because he's going to go to a good team.
mm,
He's going to drop in the first round. He's going to go to a team that doesn't need him to play right away.
one of the ones that I've been seeing a lot of talk of is him going to Indianapolis.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like Jacoby Brissett, which I
Well,
don't get because the
well,
dude literally
so I
went
don't.
from being a third string QB to a starter to
Yeah,
replace Andrew Luck. Like,
so
come on.
this is my thinking is like I kind of so this is like I said, this is all early stuff. Haven't done a lot of that, like actually looking into it. I kind of like it because I have him sit behind Jacoby.
Yeah, I mean the problem is you're
Well,
having him
Jacoby, I
sit
mean,
behind a QB that's not very good.
well that's so that's the
Jacoby's
thing is
good,
like
but he's not.
what
He's not
like
in the bottom ten,
well of course, but
like
that's the
in the
thing though.
league.
Like if you just let him sit and Jacoby does bad or Jacoby gets hurt and then you throw him in. If he does
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
great. If he doesn't, cool. You can sit behind him, for a little bit longer, and
I
Jacoby
will
can
say
keep doing his
I
thing.
think that range is probably where he will fall,
It's gonna be like
somewhere in the
early to like mid first. I'm thinking, and by early I mean like maybe like 8 up to like 16, like in that
yeah,
8.
let me pull this up real quick, see what the draft order is. So, yeah, Bengals will get Joe Burrows. You're probably so here's my thing. I think the Chargers will take Tua just strictly because I also think they're gonna get Tom Brady.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if the Carolina Panthers draft a QB as well, just because Matt Rule is not gonna want his tenure to be relying on Cam Newton trying to stay healthy.
Well, Cam Newton and
And
Will Greer.
yeah, Will Grill blows. Although I mean, I guess he might not because Matt Rule coached against him when he was at Baylor, so he got to see him firsthand. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
he likes him, maybe he doesn't. But
True.
come on, you can't tell me. It's like everybody that's in love with the mustache dude from the Jaguars. Like,
Gardner
come on,
Minshew, yeah.
like, yeah, they're terrible. They're not NFL quarterbacks. They're really good for a year or two. They'll help you out with your marketing and all of that shit, and then at the end of the day, they're not going to get you wins in the NFL. You need a QB who can actually dissect shit and not throw You can't have Jameis Winston out there. That's
True.
just a bad look.
True.
Did you see that he got LASIK even though he doesn't need glasses?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. I'm getting sick and
That's
tired of
funny.
hearing about him.
I think it's
Um,
funny.
yeah.
Dude
Uh,
stole he stole shellfish. Let's
oh,
remember that.
100%. Yeah. Jake Fromm.
Is he coming out?
So this is the thing. I saw someone saying that he
He's still
was.
playing? I
Like,
feel like he's been at Georgia forever.
well, that he's one of those it was Matthew Stafford. Like, I can't think of many of the other ones in between there, but it feels like Aaron Murray, the
He's
Georgia
got Aaron Murray.
quarterbacks.
He's got Aaron Murray written all over
Well,
him,
the
man.
Georgia quarterbacks
He's
always seem like the exact same thing to me, no matter what. Every single one of them go in. It's the exact same fucking system, the exact same type of fucking quarterback. That's it.
That's why Georgia's always a top 10 team, man.
Yeah, well, and, like that's the thing. Is like I like Fromm, but I don't think he's going to do well. Last name I have though is Jordan Love. I haven't seen a whole lot of Jordan
Is
Love.
that the dude from
Utah State.
Utah State?
I need to see some stuff of him versus like big name schools. But from what I saw, like just from the little bit that I watched today and earlier in the week, like yeah, the kid's fucking. He's the next like kind of like gem. I feel.
Um, so here's the fun thing. So what I know about Jordan Love, ready?
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, Utah State was like a top 15 team when he had they had like probably 9 seniors on offense. And then it
Okay.
was Jordan Love and another guy. And they were top 15 team and he threw like 50 touchdowns to like 3 picks. And everyone was like, hey, he's the next big thing. And then last year, all those guys graduated. So all he had was sophomores and juniors and freshmen and he did a Jameis Winston and went like 30 and 30 type of thing.
Okay.
So I think he's someone now I know listening to like New England radio,
Mm-hmm.
he's someone that they talk about as someone that the Pats would probably be interested in picking up. They also say don't sleep on from stuff like that. Um, but Jordan Love I think he's probably he's either the next thing or he's the next humongous bust.
I
It
think
all
he's
depends where he's gonna go.
because like Dak got drafted in the third, right? If I remember that correctly.
Yeah, but again, don't be surprised. I have a feeling Jordan Love's gonna be looked at a lot like
Well, the things that
Lamar
I've seen,
Jackson.
the things I've seen is Mahomes. That's the things I've been seeing.
Oh, if they're comparing him to Mahomes, he's gonna fail as a quarterback
Well,
because
that's
he'll never be that good.
when that like that's why I was going to say Dak is because Dak was a third round pick that he's a starter in the NFL and he plays well. I'm not going to say he plays good, but he plays well. You know.
Time out. Did you know the Dolphins have 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, I do.
Five, 18, and wow.
There's I saw one rumor saying they're going to trade all three to Cincinnati and go get fucking
They
Burrow.
get the first.
Yeah.
That'd be smart.
I like the balls of it. I just don't know if just getting Burrow will help that team out that much. Versus, like
I don't know that team. So here's the crazy thing. That team wasn't as bad as I mean, they won 5 games. And can
oh
you
yeah,
name a single player on that team besides Fitzpatrick?
Devontae Parker.
Good, you got their best player.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of the other receiver because I had the other receiver on my fucking fantasy team.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
true. Like,
that team won 5 games. I can't. I literally can't. The Pats played them twice, so I saw them on national TV twice. I can't name another player on that team.
I was gonna say I saw him first week versus Baltimore, and it was just like wow. But then like that's different topic. But I like my thing with them is just like I
Yeah,
feel like
sorry, different topic.
I feel like they have a lot of other needs. Like I feel like yes, getting Burrow would obviously help that team,
No, I
but
think they should do the Raiders strategy. They should keep their picks, draft all these young players because I mean the Raiders did it and they went from what 3 wins to 7. I mean,
yeah,
and just slowly build it back up. That's what they should do. I mean, who knows? They fired their OC after they scored like 35 points on the Pats. So
yeah, just
oh,
that's fucking weird.
weird.
Yeah,
No, I think who were we just talking about? Who was the QB that was up? Love?
yeah, love.
Yeah, don't I think
See
I
that,
don't
that
know.
like that's the thing. That's
He's
why I said
weird.
that's why I said Dak because I feel like he's going to be a third round pick that's either going to turn into Dak or he's not going to turn into anything. Which in the end of the day is a third round pick, which are kind of it's like either you hit big or you don't hit. Like that's kind of how I feel with thirds.
Well, it's funny because if you want to go just strictly off of what I've seen in games, which
Hmm.
obviously I watch college football more than I watch the NFL.
True.
If you want to go strictly off of games and just straight up talent, Jordan Love is way more talented than everyone but Burrows.
I can
I
agree with
mean,
that.
and here's the fun thing about Burrows too is you only saw it for 1 year. You saw it
So
for one year on a team that was flat out top to bottom the best team in the country.
that's the only thing that worries me about Burrow. Only thing is that it was 1 year. It's a better version of Mitch Trubisky.
Because I mean, if we really want to break it down, why? Let's put it this way. Do you know why did he only play 1 year?
I honestly can't. The last year to like year and a half of college football like didn't exist for me, unfortunately, because of the whole firing and then streaming.
Okay, so the reason is because he couldn't win the starting job at the other schools. I want to say
Mm.
he was at I think it was Ohio State. Um,
So
and
it's
yeah,
so it was like a Stidham
so
sort of thing then, a Jarrett Stidham sort of
yeah,
thing.
so yeah, I pulled up his stats here. I mean, in LSU, he was the backup. Was he the backup 2 years ago? I don't know. He was something 2 years ago, and then there were 2 years at Ohio State that he didn't start. He was a backup. So I mean, there's some red flags on Burrows too. I mean, he looked great this year. Don't get me wrong. Dude
Well,
was a
that's the thing. Is
stud
like
this year,
this
but
the ceiling for that guy is so fucking unreal. But then it's one of those things where like because of the 1 year thing, and I know there's a lot of people that say that doesn't matter and all that, but like that's just like to me, one year
it
means that there's
matters
just
if
a
they're gonna play right
bottomless
away.
pit. That's all that means
It
to me.
matters if they're gonna play right away.
Which he
If
will.
they're gonna, if you're in a bad program or bad team and he's gonna play right away, it matters that he's only been a 1 year starter.
Yeah. Well,
Now, the beauty for him is that he won every single award known to man, so
mhm.
it won't hurt that team in order of marketing and all this. It's not like when the Bears traded to get Trubisky, where everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing? You could have just drafted Trubisky when you did." But
True.
it will be, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see them who's going to actually throw because quarterbacks anymore at the NFL combine.
Oh yeah.
So, but if Jordan Love has a good combine, which he will, because he's going to run. If he runs the 40, you're going to see he runs like a 4.4. The dude's an absolute freak. But so the QB that you're probably not going to bring up, that he's going to be a sixth or seventh round pick, and he's going to end up being Jacoby Brissett, and that is Jalen Hurts from Oklahoma.
Yep. I was
He's the
so
one. Don't sleep on him. He's gonna
that was
find his way
that was
onto a
one
team.
that's one that
He's
I was
gonna
gonna
be
write down.
Tyrod Taylor, Jacoby Brissett. He's gonna be this journeyman backup that will eventually get a chance and lead a team to a playoff because he takes care of the football.
Hmm. I was gonna write that one down, but then I didn't in the end because I was just like, let me just throw five. But I like Hurts. I think he's a good quarterback, and like
How
it's like,
crazy! Dude won two national championships, went to another national title, and then made the playoffs with a brand new team.
hmm
And he might go undrafted.
like that's just it's, if
He
let's
might-
put it like this. Let's put it like this. If he goes undrafted and someone doesn't like have him on a practice squad or like fully have him like as an undrafted like free agent,
He's gonna be
and
great in the XFL.
that's what I was about to say. Some XFL team just got the fucking pick of a lifetime, you know. So now,
It's like the Cardell Jones thing. I
so
mean,
yeah. So now, speaking of
that came out of
XFL,
nowhere. Yes, good transition.
yeah, right. How about that one? Some might say I do this kind of professionally now. It's XFL. Interesting weekend so far. So starting off, we got the New York Guardians versus DC Defenders. I said a lot of good things about New York last week because they just played solid football. This
Was
week,
that the first game?
yeah,
Was that the first game of the week?
that was the
Okay.
first game.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, this week they lost 27-0 to DC. Matt McGloin literally just saying, "Let's just tear up the offensive game plan and scheme, and let's just do something completely brand new." Has gotten everyone up in a fucking giant.
Yeah. McGloin's a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how about this? Play better.
Well, that's the
Crazy
thing.
idea. You're starting QB for a brand new fucking team. Stop bitching about your coaching and play fucking better. Because guess what? There's a million people who want to show the NFL that they can still fucking play. They'll gladly take your spot, you little prick.
100%.
Anyway,
So
I digress.
the first big news is we had our first trade of the XFL. Anthony Johnson is now a DC defender. He's a D end, and he got traded for Bradley Silve to the LA Wildcats. He's a cornerback. Anthony Johnson looked fucking incredible as a DC defender. It's shocking, and LSU, and if I remember correctly, if it's the right Anthony Johnson, LSU guy, shocking that he's playing well.
Shut the front door. I'm looking at the stats right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you Kareem Abdullah plays in the XFL?
Bro, I'm telling you, you start looking down the list of like
He
fucking
plays
names.
for the Defenders?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
you start looking.
That dude. Yeah, he's a Lions great.
Yeah, well, it's like you look and you find Raheem Moore,
Yeah, that's true.
and Raheem
Hey,
Moore
do
is
you think
killing
that
it.
there's like 7 Horns in this league? Are they all related to Joe Horn?
One of them is Joe Horn Jr. is because he was a Raven that got let go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
There was a
looking
long
at the
list that I was
stats right
looking
now.
at.
I just fucking
So
the defenders are nasty.
the defenders are easily. Well, I would say they're tied for the best team in the league. Cardell Jones looks fucking incredible. The New
Yeah.
York
Well, I'll tell you
Guardians
what,
D line is
they're-
nuts. By the way,
The Defenders QB their head coach Pep Hamilton. He's a really good coach.
True.
He worked for Michigan for a while under Harbaugh.
oh yeah.
So
We had the first fake punt of the league, and it was fucking incredible. It was just a little sweep play to the fucking up man.
That was the first play. That was the first play I watched.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was-
they had the giant review like right after because some dude got laid out.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Loved it. Also, I don't know if it was that game. I forgot which game it was. We had one of the games where they interviewed Scooby Wright, and Scooby Wright just said,
He's
"Yeah,
hilarious,
I just hit the dude in the mouth, and the ball came out," like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's all the notes that I have from the first game. Just there was a big trade for Anthony Johnson, and he showed up during the game. The Guardians D line is good. Cardell Jones is good in this league, and the fake punt was great. Then we go to the second game. I'm going to say already. Sorry, Sturge. We had the Seattle Dragons versus the Tampa Bay Vipers. It was 17-9.
They suck.
It was 17-9. First note: both quarterbacks suck.
I'm just saying the Vipers in this game had 5 people throw the fucking football.
They had 5 in the end.
We had 5 people throw the football. Now, don't get me, 2 of them were on the double forward pass thing.
It doesn't matter.
We
It's
had
still
5
the fact.
5 people throw the football.
So-
like, what the fuck?
Quentin Flowers needs to be your guys' quarterback right now until you guys can figure something out. I don't give a shit about double quarterbacks. I don't give a no. Just have one fucking guy, and I say it's Quentin Flowers out of everyone I see on your roster.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what sucks is that they have like 12 receivers that are 6'5",
Mm-hmm.
and they still don't throw the ball to them. It's weird.
It's just
Yeah, this
like-
Cornelius guy did real good, passer rating of 40.
Mhm.
Oh, Quentin Flowers, passer rating of 10. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Real
say.
good.
That's the thing. I'm not gonna say
You know what's
he's.
funny though? I was watching the end of the game. They had they scored a touchdown as time expired, and it got called back for offensive pass interference though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was insane. Did you watch that part?
Oh yeah.
It was really cool here. Like that was the first time where I went, "Wow, this is really cool." Hearing the refs actually explain this.
Like
'Cause
it's.
actually, they went to the booth and they were literally like, "Yeah, dude, that's a blatant push off. We can't have that."
There's
like,
a lot of the stuff like
is it
that
though?
that I think is really great about this league, and there's a lot of it that's just bad. Oh, not a lot. Let me rephrase that. There's like that sort of stuff I think is good. There's one thing that I'll get to at the end that's really bad, in my
Shit,
opinion.
this Roughnecks Battlehawks game's in 10. It's a 4-point game with
Oh,
a
yeah.
minute left.
I got it on right now.
Shit.
So
Holy crap! This
Vipers.
Tiamu guy's the real deal.
Oh,
huh?
Tamu's fucking good, dude.
Wow, and PJ Walker. Wow, they're both
Yeah.
slinging it. Okay.
Vipers defense super aggressive. Fucking love it. The amount
well,
the
they
amount
better
that you
be
guys
after the last game they
well,
fucking
the,
played.
the amount that you guys blitz and the amounts that you guys like do defensively, I was just like, I'm sitting there like, God damn. The last thing
I don't know
is
if you
just
saw it. They let Matt McGloin throw for like 1,000 yards against them last week.
oh
so
yeah.
yeah, do something different.
Last note though, the only thing I had left was I'm glad to see Keenan Reynolds doing well, like with the Seattle Dragons, Keenan Reynolds, quarterback for Navy. He got drafted by Baltimore. He was a Raven for a few years.
He's playing receiver now, right?
Yep. I'm just glad to see him doing well. He's playing. He had like 3 catches for like 80 yards and a touchdown.
That's what I need the XFL to do. I need them to get a triple option team.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
One of these teams.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was waiting for Baltimore to fucking pull it out in the playoffs. I was fucking waiting for it. Could you imagine that? Like just
fucking nightmare.
So then we have the Dallas Renegades versus the LA Wildcats. It was 25-18 Dallas. So I wrote this down, and it's a little bit sarcastic. Landry Jones versus Josh Johnson, the best quarterback matchup. And the reason why I wrote that is because going into the XFL, if you look at the XFL and you're trying to pick these are the guys that will be the face of our league. Right? You see Landry Jones, you see Josh Johnson, immediately you're like, they're both NFL guys, they're both big, they're both decently big name guys. That's the faces of our league. They both suck.
That's fair. See, I didn't think Landry Jones was that bad. Josh Johnson, yeah, he's terrible now. He's so old now. He's so old.
So Josh Johnson's terrible, but
what do you want from the guy?
But the best part about it is that LA looks like a completely different team with him as their quarterback versus whoever the fuck they had week 1 as their quarterback. Like completely different team.
Like, these teams did like scrimmages where no one could touch the quarterback, and then both these teams' quarterbacks were hurt going into week 1. Like, what the fuck were you guys doing at practice?
Well, that's
the hell did they get hurt?
Defenses both played really well in the game. Cameron Artis Payne was killing it in the second half because, shocking, when the passing game isn't working, they decided to start handing the ball off. And
well, Artis Payne's going to get himself an NFL contract.
Oh, true. I think there's going to be a few guys. And, so, like, of course, that game I really didn't, like, I was watching it, but it was, like, whatever. Like, the Dallas game, I really didn't really care too much about it. Which leaves us now to the game that is currently on right now that I've been watching throughout stream, and is the Battlehawks versus the Roughnecks. So this is why I brought up the best quarterback thing.
Oh, because Houston has the ball? That sucks. Yeah. Okay, go
on. The reason why I brought up the best quarterback thing is because, like I said, Landry Jones versus Josh Johnson. If I would have said that before, you would have been like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Now, if I say it's Jordan Ta'amu versus PJ Walker, like that's kind of the faces of the league, and then you can throw Cardale Jones in there too. Like,
first, I still don't know who the hell Jordan Ta'amu is. Like,
so Jordan Ta'amu is the Battlehawks.
He played in Hawaii.
Nope, he played at fucking either Mississippi State or Ole Miss. It's one of the two. I forgot which one it is.
Ole Miss. Yeah, I know exactly.
Yep, it's that guy.
He sucks.
Well, he's 30 for 37 right now, man.
Yeah,
he has 2 picks. So. He has 2 picks. One of them, his arm got hit as he was throwing. So that one, I was like, okay, whatever. The other one was just a bad throw, like 100%.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is Nick Fitzgerald? Is he playing for the Battlehawks?
I mean, he might be.
That was the quarterback for Mississippi State, who like went off rushing and then all of a sudden like tore his ACL in the last game of the year. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading through these names.
Yeah, no, like it's well, that's the thing. It's like it's beautiful. I love it. Like, well, DeMornay Pearsonell.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of really good players. PJ Walker was a really good QB at Temple, though. He was the QB when they like brought Temple back.
So I wrote down here,
and I'm like 5'8".
As soon as I say this next sentence, I think you'll agree 100% with me. June Jones and PJ Walker together is like a fucking match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Like watching this game and watching the way that PJ Walker's throwing the ball, he's moving around, and the offense. It reminds me of Cole Brennan in Hawaii with fucking June Jones.
That's what it is. It's all short passing. It's all quick option routes, stuff like that. It's nothing complex.
Well, no, it isn't. Crazy, it's just beautiful watching it because, of course, as you know, I was a huge fucking Cole Brennan Hawaii fan back when they were doing this in college and putting stupid numbers.
I was more of a Timmy Chang fan.
Oh yeah. Houston's run D has been great this game, by the way.
Really?
Oh yeah. The Battlehawks were running it all over fucking Dallas last week.
Oh yeah,
this week not so much. Like from the bits I've been seeing, it's just like Dallas is just like, nope, fuck you. Like, we're gonna make you throw. Let's see if you can throw. And like, it's fucking working. They're winning by 4.
Well, it's smart. That's how it should be. Like in these leagues, so the hardest thing the XFL is going to face is in the NFL. Once you get to professional levels, the most important thing is quarterback play. It's the most important thing all the time. And when you get to these smaller leagues, it's why what was the last one that they tried? The UFL or whatever it
No, the
was?
AAF.
Yeah, whatever the last one they did, the reason it failed is because the quarterback play was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the XFL's done a lot of these rules that are so similar to college, because their hope is those great college quarterbacks that couldn't cut it in the NFL
Can
can
come
be
here
really good at this league. And so far you're seeing it. Cardell Jones,
and
really effing good at this league where it's a spread them out, throw the ball, run some option stuff. You can't do that in the NFL. The ends are way too fast. Like it's just not possible.
yeah,
And the more this league takes off and the more the O lines and stuff start working together and teams haven't been together for only 5 weeks, you're gonna see better play. You're gonna see more score. Like you're already starting to see more scoring. Like, you're gonna see stuff that you're gonna see numbers that will go off the screen, stuff like that. But you just got to give this league time to keep
oh, of
developing. The
course,
nice part, I read somewhere that they're locked in for 2 years. They have enough financial stability to go 2 years no matter
beautiful.
what. So,
That's beautiful.
um,
So,
it'll be nice to see a league actually make a second season.
yeah. Well, me and Jeff were huge into the AAF. We were watching like all the games. We were fucking full into it. And then like when it like
Yeah.
came up, like
Rest in peace, Birmingham Iron.
yeah, Salt Lake Stallions. But so like now, so that's all the positives. So now let's talk about 2 big negatives. I think these are 2 huge negatives that need to be fixed. And this is just me. One, they're going over with fucking Hugh Mooney. Do I have that right?
Yeah, give me more than that.
Offensive coordinator.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
think that's right.
Halftime, he's going over the game plan for what him and the receivers are going to do. So he has the receivers around a chalkboard and he's drawing up like the plays and like this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Fucking cameraman and like fucking interviewer guy just straight in there just trying to get like full on looking at that, putting the mic in. Meanwhile, more and more players are like trying to stop them, sort of thing. Like, I get that they're trying to be so transparent with the league that it makes it like better or whatever the fuck they're gonna say, but there's some shit like that I just feel like they need to stop doing.
See, I think they need to have that stuff, but I think they got to go about it more discreetly.
So I like
Like
so my
they
thing
just honestly, like how hard is it to just mic up every freaking player?
well, that's the thing is like so like all the coaches are mic'd up because
Just
the
mic
best
them
one.
all. Yeah.
So this is the best one, and so you fell asleep during it. So with Bob Stoops, apparently when they mic into them, they're mic'd into their headset, like offense and defense. So they were in it. So
Yeah.
they were trying to get into Bob Stoops, and they're like, so coach, da 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 da, and he's like, yeah, you need to get off this channel immediately, and then he just switches over to another channel. And then, like, there's a
Yeah.
few minutes later, he's like, look, we're on offense. You need to go to this one right now because I'm not doing this
Yeah.
anymore. Like, he was just getting pissed off with it. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, as a coach, I can only imagine you getting pissed off with. By the way, Roughnecks just won 28-24.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of saw it coming, but so that's one thing. I just think that they need to bring it back a little bit. The second thing is all of the fucking interviewing. Oh my fucking god! If I have
Yeah,
to
they do
if
gotta
I have
cut.
to
They
listen
gotta cut
to
back on
if
it.
I have to listen to another quarterback tell me that, look, man, I just got to play the game better. I just got to stop throwing bad balls. I just got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing that. It's like, I fucking know that. Everyone in the fucking world knows that. There's no need to fucking go to this guy 18,000 times and then like they're going to like random defensive linemen. Like, so how are you doing in this game?
I think.
And then it's
Yeah,
like, it's just
I
fucking
think
leave him alone.
it will get better as they get more people that are involved with football. Like when Pat McAfee did it, I
Oh my
thought that
god,
was really cool.
it was
So
beautiful.
the more football people they get involved in this, like I think who's the QB that's been doing it? McElroy.
Yeah,
McElroy's been doing it. I think he's been great too. And the more football guys they actually get, and the less like entertainment people they have on the sideline, the better the product's gonna be. It's just the work in progress. You
true,
just gotta give it time.
true. I just
Because
it's like
I'm
I'm
okay with the interviews. I just hate the questions and the timing of it are
well.
stupid.
That's the thing is like
Like,
I saw the two big ones that stand out to me was one of them was like today. and it was like immediately right before the kickoff. The guy's out on the field interviewing the kicker, like, how has this changed? How do you have to mentally prepare yourself for the change between kicking in the XFL versus the NFL? And like, you look at the kicker, look at him for a moment, like, are you fucking dumb?
I mean, it's a great
Like,
question. This is a horrible time.
well, like, that's the thing is like, but like, so like there was that, and then the other one was like there was a pick last week that happened, and then it got reversed. Like, he didn't score a touchdown; he was down to the one. So like the
Yeah.
lady's like running over to him as he's trying to go on the field, and he's like, "No, like, I can't talk to you. I have to go on the field," and she's just fucking like running after him. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like
Again,
I just
the more football people that are involved, because they'll understand the boundaries, they'll understand when they can talk to them, that type of stuff.
I just like the
I think it's a cool aspect. It's
It
just
is,
something
but
they need to work out the kinks on.
like when you ask a quarterback 8 times, like, what do you have to do better, and like then you
Yeah.
reword it with
Why do you keep throwing picks?
emotionally, how do you need to fix this? Is it a physical thing, or is it an emotional thing? Is it a mental
They'll
thing?
learn when someone
or-
finally snaps at them.
Well, I'm waiting. Well, like, and that's the thing is like I'm waiting for it, because eventually they're gonna say that, and someone's gonna look at them and be like, "What are you, fucking dumb?" Like, after
With all the negatives that it is, though, it is very nice to be able to turn on the TV and see some form of football on that's not arena.
100. Well,
Like
that's
a true
so.
form of football.
So
It's
little
cool
bit,
to see.
little bit of a fifth topic before we get off. Arena's dead.
Oh, is it finally dead?
It's dead. Zudi told me about it. Zudi sent me a message, or sent me a article about it. Like, it's dead. Like, they fully were like, nope, we're done. We've been trying to do this as long as we can, but
they don't have enough money. That's all. I mean,
well, it's not like it was like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Arena was like, this is cool. There's a video game. There's this, there's that. They're trying to make this into a league, and it was like getting good numbers, and then it just gone.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough, especially when, like, the cool thing about the XFL is, well, the hard part right now is the 8 teams. There's no, like, in the NFL, every team has its own owner.
Mhm.
Well, in the XFL, that's not true. The league has an owner, and that owner right now owns all 8 teams.
That's a little bit weird.
Now, that's the hard part right now, is what they're trying to get to is what the other league with the AAF was doing, and that's part of why they folded so quickly. Is some of the owners weren't making enough money and they were going bankrupt, and now one team folds, another team has to fold. So they've got one guy funding the whole thing, but now the next part is, we do need to, we got to boost this up to 12 teams, and we have to now have individual owners, because that's when you get the true competitive part of this. Like, hey, yeah, like, the Cowboys hate the Eagles because Jerry Jones hates what's-his-face.
Yeah,
like,
I could see within the next few years, like, maybe some, like, big name, like celebrities, rappers, like that sort of thing. Like
Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like him actually, like, not doing an arena team, and
Yeah, if all of a sudden you've got the New York Jay-Z team.
Well, like the Guardians,
like that,
just fucking there. He just says, "Yeah, this is my team now." Fuck you guys.
I'm sure Magic Johnson's going to be looking for a team soon now that the Dodgers kicked him to the curb.
Yeah, right. I mean, but all right, guys. That is the end of episode 2. Went a little bit longer, but that's fine. It's always good talking with Sturge about topics like this and picking a good mind. Sturge, you got any last remarks, comments, anything?
It was a pleasure to be on your show, and I want everyone to know out there I won 2 games of Apex while playing without Greenwood. So, ipso facto, Greenwood sucks at Apex.
Oh, well, there
Just
you go.
saying.
There you go, guys. You heard it first from Coach Sturgis. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll have you on later, a little bit later on down the road as well for
we gotta talk
draft.
draft.
Yep.
Gotta talk draft.
So that is it for tonight.
Stay frisky.
There we go. Depending on where you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay out of trouble, and we will talk to you all later. Bye.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night. That's nice.